Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. We've got another mod showcase, and this is Mounts of Mayhem Plus. Now the name we have decided for this update is going to be Mounts and Monsters. Now before we showcase some of the new features, let's quickly just talk about a few things. First off, the reason it is called Mounts and Monsters and not Mounts of Mayhem is because CurseForge no longer allows you to use a Minecraft update name, which is totally fine, but you may still hear me refer to the mod as Mounts of Mayhem Plus. Now, where can you download the mod? Well, it is available on CurseForge and Modrinth. Now, at the time of recording this video, both versions have been published, but they might not be approved. Now, what have we got for the first update of this mod? Well, if you don't know what this mod is, it expands upon the Mounts of Mayhem update, adding new features that Minecraft may have missed. Now, before we jump to some new mounts, let's quickly talk about two new types of armor stand. Now, the first one is crafted like so, sticks and a smooth stone slab, and this gives you a nautilus armor stand. The next one is crafted like so, I believe, and this one will give you a horse armor stand. Now, upon crafting both of these, you can place them down. You can see the nautilus armor stand looks like this, and the horse armor stand looks like this. Now, why do we need these? Well, it's a cool way to show off the armors without needing a mount. You can see we have the horse ones and the nautilus. You can click any type on these and it will render. And they also work like normal armor stands where they are static and they do not move. But there is another reason we added these, and that is because you can now trim your horse armor and your nautilus armor. So by grabbing a smithing table as well as the armor trim you would like, the material you would like, and also the horse armor or nautilus armor, you can see we can now trim it. It will have a item icon update to show that it is trimmed, and this is for both of them, which you can see right here. And upon clicking this on the horse armor stand, you can see it is now trimmed. Now, each trim does have a unique pattern, and one thing I am going to quickly say, this took ages. There are currently 18 trims in the game, so 18 trims for horses and 18 trims for the nautilus took a very long time. And you can see this is what they look like on the armor stands. Now, here is a quick look at all of the trims. You can see the trim for the horses. The trim is underneath them. I think they are looking pretty cool. There are some that might need some adjustments in future updates, but you can see what they all look like. And then you also have the nautilus ones right here. They are in the same order as the horse ones. And I've done them in iron and redstone just because that hopefully is the easiest for people to see. But you can also see a look at all of the nautilus. I think once again they look pretty cool. Now, the first new mount is the skeleton bogged horse, which you can see right here. It is a skeleton horse but with the bogged texture. This will spawn in swamps and mangrove swamps at nighttime, and it will also spawn with one of two possible riders. The first one obviously being the bogged, and the bogged will spawn with its bow, or it can spawn with a Soden, which is a new swamp zombie. Now, the swamp zombie, if it spawns on the skeleton horse's back, it will have a iron spear. And here we go, I have found one of the mounts. Now, if you kill the mob on top, in this case it is the Soden, the bogged horse will work pretty much like the skeleton horse, where you can now jump on the mob and put a saddle, and it is now tamed and I can ride it around. Now, there's one difference, and the bogged horse is slightly quicker than the normal skeleton horse. Now, the next mount comes in with the snowy biomes, and you can see it right here. This is the chillified polar bear. It will spawn within ice spikes, it will also spawn within snowy plains, and also the frozen oceans. Now, it will spawn with a stray riding its back, but there is also a chance it can spawn with the chilled, and this is a frozen variant of the zombie. Now, the chilled will also have a iron spear if it's on the back. The stray will have a normal bow. And once again, like horses, you can kill the rider, put a saddle on, and you can then ride the chillified polar bear. Now, it is quite slow, and it works pretty much like every other mount. But there is one unique property about the chillified polar bear, and that is the fact that you can do a special attack. Now, if you have a few mobs around you and you hold your spacebar, it will charge up a roar. That roar will knock mobs back within a radius, which you can see right there. It will not deal damage to the mobs, but mobs will take full damage and things like that. So it's just a cool way to get mobs away from you if you want to run. Now, the roar cannot be spammed. As you can see, there is a cooldown, and I can do it again now. and the polar bear will stand up while it's doing the roar. There is one downside to this, and that means that the polar bear cannot jump. So if you try to jump, it will just roar instead. The third new mount in this update is the stray horse. Now once again, this is a horse, but it has the stray texture. So you can see what it looks like right here. Now once again, this one will spawn in ice spikes as well as the snowy plains. And it can also spawn with a shield on its back holding a spear, or it can spawn with a stray holding a bow. And here we go, we have found one right here. This has the shield on the back with a spear. Now just like the bulked horse, you can kill the mob riding it, and then you can jump on and equip the saddle to be able to ride them. Now the uniqueness of the stray horse, it works pretty much the same as the skeleton horse. The only difference is it can ride over things like powdered snow, and it will not take freezing damage. But the next two mounts are within the Nether. So if we head on through this portal, now the new mount within the Crimson Forest is quite rare, so you are going to have to do some exploring. This is the Warboar. It is a version of the Hogling which has paint all over it. It will spawn with a zombified pigling having a spear, or it will also spawn with a normal pigling having a spear. Now just like all the mounts, you can kill the mob on top to be able to ride this mob. By grabbing a saddle, you can equip the saddle on, and you can then jump on the back. Now this mob works pretty much like Hoglings, and one thing to note, I just walked in the lava and killed it, because they are not fire resistant. Now once you have one, you can dye the paint. At the moment, by default, it will be white, but if we quickly just grab some colors, let's grab blue, let's maybe grab yellow, let's also grab light grey. If you shift click the dye onto them, you can see it will dye. So it means you can customize your mount a lot more. But there is another thing to note about these. They do also have Warboar armor, and by equipping the armor onto them, which I can quickly just do. There we go, I have equipped the armor on. The armor will protect them, giving them a little bit more resistance. It works like horse armor rather than wolf armor, where they will still take damage if you punch them. Now when you are riding the mob, you can see the health, and it is pretty slow. But there is a unique attack with them. Once again, if you hold the jump bar, they will be able to get a speed boost for a few seconds. And that speed boost is definitely going to be very useful for if you are spear fighting. Because if I grab myself a spear and I joust forward, you can see you get a big speed boost. But it only lasts for a few seconds, so you need to make sure you time it very well. Now, we've still got a few more features to cover, but there is one final mount. And that mount once again spawns within the Nether. And a lot of you guys are probably going to know instantly what this mount is. But let's quickly just find one before I reveal its name. And here we go. I have found the final mount. The final mount is the Wither Skeleton Horse. And this Wither Skeleton Horse will spawn in Souls and Valleys with a Wither Skeleton riding it. Now once again, they are kind of rare. The Wither Skeleton will be holding a bow. The bow will shoot flaming arrows. Now, just like all of them, if you kill the mob riding it, you will be able to saddle it up and ride the mob. One other thing to quickly note, the skeleton horse is a lot taller than the normal skeleton horse. So if I quickly just show you the size difference, it's a lot taller, and that is just because Wither Skeletons are a lot taller than normal skeletons. Now there is another thing to note about the Wither Skeleton Horse. It can ride in lava. Now, if you take it into lava, it will not burn. But if you are in survival mode, you will burn. So let's quickly just show that. You can see I started taking damage. Let's now just splash ourselves with fire resistance. You will now see upon going into the lava, I will not burn, and I can walk on the floor of the lava. It is extremely slow, and that is intentional because we still want Striders to be more useful. But it's a way to walk on the bottom of lava without dying. It is extremely slow. You can see how slow I am moving. Now, the final features for this update come in at the War Motion, and that is a new mob. You can see the new mob is right here. This is the Sunken. It is a coral version of the skeleton, and it spawns in two ways. First off, on its own, which you can see right here, and there is about a 3% chance it can spawn riding a zombie coral nautilus. You will still be able to find these with drowns on top. It is just in addition to that. Now, I know there are probably going to be people in the comments wondering how this works, because arrows don't work underwater. Well, the Sunken will shoot a new type of arrow. So if I head over to this one on its own and go in survival mode, you can see they do have the swimming animation that the drowned has, and they are shooting me with an arrow. But if I dodge the arrow and let it land on the ground, you can see this is the new arrow type. This new arrow type is called the coral arrow, and it works just like the normal arrow, but it works underwater. Let's stand right here and let's shoot a normal arrow. You can see a normal arrow goes that far. If I now shoot a coral arrow without moving my mouse, you can see it goes a lot further, and that time I did hit the Sunken. It is not as good as the Trident though, and we did make sure of that, but it is a way to have arrows underwater. Now you can get these arrows from killing the Sunken, or you can also craft them. The crafting recipe for them is a prismarine shard, a stick, and then any coral fan, and this will get you 1. Now the things I forgot to showcase are the attacks of the Soden and Shield. Now the Soden will attack you with a poison, so when it hits you, you'll have poison for about 5 seconds, and the Shield will freeze you. So if I spawn a Shield and go in survival mode, you will be able to see it will attack me, and I'll get frozen for, once again, about 5 seconds. And that is everything in the first update of Mounts and Monsters. I think it's a pretty cool update. There are a lot of new mounts, and there are a lot of new monsters. And also the horse armor stand and nautilus armor stand, I think these are also good to mess around with. But if you have any feedback or suggestions, then do let us know in the comments of this video or on Discord, and we'll definitely look into them for the second update. But that is the end for this one. And if you did enjoy, do like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!